Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Coach's Corner. Before we get into the main pod, I know you guys probably thought you'd be rid of me for this week, but unfortunately you won't be. Yeah, look, the game itself was fun as hell. One of Arteta's best coach games, I think personally. Um, and I think from what I saw from the stats, I'm just getting in by the way from the game, so yeah, I haven't seen everything yet. But yeah, I think from the stats I saw ridiculous XG, which exactly what I saw with my own eyes. Translates basically. And yeah, I think I'll just get into my main 3 points. The first one was seniority. We want to see the baby today, and we did eventually. He'll be my third point, but yeah, he's always going to defer to seniority. That's who Arteta is. He's a creature of habit. So, and it made sense, to be honest. We needed killers and actual finishers, and today, in my mind, our two best finishers, Martinelli and Trossard, are the ones that won us the game today. You know, Martinelli getting the opener, and then Trossard, and then setting one up for Trossard, basically, and then obviously Saka creating the third one from the aforementioned set piece that everyone loves to, you know, overstate. But it's just, if you're good at something, why wouldn't you abuse it? You know, it's like the FIFA players that abuse fast players. You know, it is what it is. Second point was Calafiori. All due respect, I watched a lot of Maldini. Granted, I didn't see him at the very, very peak of his powers, but I saw him for, I'd probably say, the last 6 to 7 years of his career, and yeah, he was absolutely out of this world. I'm sorry about Calafiori. I just don't see a world where Maldini was better than this guy. Um, he's a unicorn, much like Ben White, but he's left-footed, and I think he's probably, in terms of carrying the ball, and it's going to sound crazy to say this, in terms of carrying the ball, I think he might be better than Ben White. And Ben White is fantastic at carrying the ball out, but Calafiori is a whole different kettle of fish to me, and he's got the tricks to go with it as well. When you're trying to outnumber teams, especially in deep blocks, he's an absolute cheat code. You can imagine what Messi was like. You know, just he was a coach's dream. He's a coach's dream in terms of putting him in the middle of a pitch and thus, you know, creating overloads because he's beaten 2, 3 players, and then now obviously you're running at the heart of the defense, and he's got the pick of whoever he wants to pass to. And I'm not saying California is on that level, but you can imagine the panic it causes when it's a left back doing that, and he can lay the ball off to a Martinelli or to a Trossard or to a Saka. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty scary. Final point is the baby. We haven't seen nothing yet from this kid, just so you guys know. So hold your horses. He's going to, however good you think he is, he's going to be like 10 times better. But while he's at this level now, let's be patient with him, and let's really not try to rush him too much. Arteta knows what he's doing. One of the reasons why he had such an amazing impact today is game state. And I think we have to be very, very, we have to pump our brakes a little bit here, because he took him off, he took him on, so he put him on for number 5. And when a team concedes territory and retreats to their own box, you don't need progressive passes anymore, especially from your defensive midfield, because you've already got up their pitch. That's the whole point of them being there. They get you up the pitch, especially when they're good on the ball already and they can beat a press kind of thing. So him coming off him made perfect sense. You know, football's a wonderful sport when it's, you know, when it's played simply. And once we're up the pitch, now you give the ball to someone like Nwaneri. You know, I spoke about Calafiori being able to beat presses and whatnot. Ethan's first action was to come on and carry the ball 15 yards and hit an absolute perler that was, that was saved. It was a fantastic save. That's Manieri. That's what you can do to a team. That's what you can do for your team. That's what you can do to your team. And what that does is causes panic, because we're looking at space now, and space is the currency for the top teams. If you can create numerical advantages without having to move the ball around, you can just do it through one player carrying it past 2, 3 players. Players panic because they're only human, and they start moving out of position, right? They start moving out of position, and what does that do? That gives you even more space. And not the player not for the player carrying the ball, but for the players, but for the attackers that are being occupied by those players that have to now come out and get the guy that's carrying the ball. So fantastic stuff from Arteta. It made perfect sense. And I think we're probably going to see a start in the league relatively soon. But yeah, the kid is fantastic, man. But yeah, back to the guys on the main pods. Take it easy. Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. This is your host, Dean, and today I am here with Gabby. What's going on, Gabby?
Good. I'm good. Glad we got the win.
Yay. And Mitch. How are you, Mitch?
In a much better mood than last week.
That's not hard. You're a results-based analysis human being, I suppose, so your moods go with the results, I suppose. You were like, fuck process last week. We just, God, they equalized last week.
I didn't say that. Come on.
You did not, but that's the way we tried to set it up. However, before we get into today's festivities, which was the 4-2 win over Leicester at the Emirates, a couple things happened, or things have been going on since the last time we got together, and I feel we would be remiss if we didn't discuss them briefly before we got into Leicester, because there's more than enough to talk about, Leicester. But real quick, Mitch, all week we had to read articles and see news clips and see online clips about Arsenal and the dark arts. I have very copious thoughts on this topic, but that's not where we're here today. So I'll allow you, with a fresher soul and a less biased mind, to give me your opinions and your thoughts regarding Arsenal being tarred with the feather of being the proponents of dark arts in the Premier League at present.
Yeah, saying that I'm unbiased is something else. But yeah, I think that it's just been a very strange reaction, but it's also expected. This is something we've seen before, like where it's a thing that teams do all the time. Arsenal does it very prominently, and then all of a sudden it's an issue. Like we're 2 Gabriel goals away from teams being like, we got to find some way to ban corner kicks. Like we just got to figure out like how we can just get rid of them from the game. Like throw-ins from all angles. We got to do something because this is ruining the game. But it's just really strange to see the reaction of how people have acted. You would have thought that Arsenal rolled up to the Etihad starting 11 defenders with the way that people are talking about how Arsenal played last week. Because we went down to 10 men, and we talked about the validity of that all last week. We went down to 10 men, and we played how you are supposed to play with 10 men. You are supposed to play defensively, and you are supposed to waste time. You are supposed to just get through the rest of the game when you're trying to preserve a lead in an away game against a team like City with 10 men. When you put in every single piece of context, nothing Arsenal did was out of line. And every single Man City player after the game somehow, I think they lined up behind a microphone and just every single one of them had something to say, because I was seeing quotes from every City player, and I've never seen that from a game before. Just every player had a post-game interview. Okay. And they're all complaining about the dark arts. It's yeah, this is what teams do when they're down to 10 men against a team that's really good. It's a sign of respect. It's a sign of tactical intelligence that we're not rolling up like Ainge when he had 9 men against Chelsea playing a high line. I love driving that point home because I think that was one of the dumbest tactical choices I've ever seen from a professional manager. And it's something that you won't see Arteta do because it's not the smart choice and it's not the optimal choice. And I think it's just strange to see Arsenal criticized for making the objective correct choice. And we're now being painted with this broad brush of dark arts, defensive team. It's yeah, we're a pretty defensive team, and we get our hands dirty when we need to. But it's been a strange reaction to what I only see as the most intelligent choice of what we could have done last week.
Well said. I suppose I could ask Gabby to add on to that, but really, what else are we saying here?
Arteta said what he had to say in his presser. He called you guys stupid, and that's all I had to say.
There you go. Gabby, while I have your attention, we did play a game against Bolton midweek. You won 5-1 with a mixture of kids and adults. Some of them were Jamaican. What are your takeaways, briefly, from that game?
The kiddos were out that day, for sure. First takeaway, I should say Jack Porter. 16-year-old debut, he did really good he was really good between the sticks. He didn't really have that much to do because, we were dominating against Bolton, but I love that for him. I wish he had gotten a clean sheet. The goal we conceded wasn't his fault, but he kind of imposed himself a little bit. I was actually proud of him. I was like, okay, if we ever need you again, I hope we don't, to be fair, but if we ever need you again. Sterling. Sterling. Wow. You moved me. I know this is like Bolton tax and everything, but like you moved me bad in that game. A goal and 2 assists, I will take it. Absolutely. And him constantly playing direct is what I want to see all of our wingers play like that's what I want. That running in behind and the Miles Lewis Skelly ball to him for his assist to Ethan's first goal. Very good. Which brings me on to Ethan. I will be seeing more of you. I'm going to speak that into existence. I will be seeing more of you. You need to be starting in our midfield, and that's all I have to say about that.
All right, well, I'm glad we're all getting crazy together because I didn't really, from the clips I saw of the kid, the grainy clips from when we first heard of him about 2, maybe 3 seasons ago now, it feels like.
3 seasons
I
ago,
was
yeah.
like, he has it. Whatever it is, he has it, and I want to see him in the team ASAP. And
He made his debut at 14, right?
15.
15? Okay.
Yeah, we had Brentford, but we're on the cusp, and I'm excited, and I'm sure we'll have more to say about him because we got to see him again today. Mitch, the lineup came out. Any surprises or disappointments for you?
I think the biggest thing I was looking for when I opened the lineup was, is David Raya playing? And yes, and then I immediately felt comfortable. And all respect to Neto, but I think he's just kind of a warm body and a senior presence. But he's not what David Raya has been, who's been probably our best player to start the season in all competitions. And to have him back after having that knock against City was big. Everything else pretty expected because it was, I think, the same exact lineup, right?
Yes.
I think I would have liked to see Ethan in the lineup, but I'm not totally surprised that we didn't start him today. But I think he's getting closer and closer to that.
Okay, follow-up question. If Ethan was in the lineup, which one of the adults was going to sit on the bench?
Number 5.
Okay.
Trossard, Rice.
Here we go with this shit again. All right, cool. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. This performance was Arsenal's highest recorded XG performance since that stat's been kept. So ultimately, despite the fact that the game ended 4-2, this was an utterly dominant thrashing of a really shitty Leicester team. But the game had enough drama that we're probably going to get to talk for an hour, which I find unfortunate because my air conditioning isn't high enough right now. So I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but y'all don't care about that. In any event, we weren't poor to start the game, Gabby, but we didn't get our first shot on goal until the 15th minute. What did you make of the opening period of the game?
I hated it. I know that's negative to say, but like I've been so adamant this season, last season about us playing with urgency from the off. And I just didn't think we were playing with urgency at all. We were just content with just like sitting back. And I was like, please just like impose yourself against this relegation fodder. Like just shoot at the goalkeeper. That's it. Just shoot at the goalkeeper. Kasper Schmeichel is not back there, although I felt like it. I wanted to see some more open play goals. Like just testing the goalkeeper and making them know that we're going to be dominant in this game, and not just dominant by possession and I know all the sickos will say like field tilt and XG and whatever else, buzzwords. But I wanted us to actually put the ball into the back of the net and be like, yeah, sucker punch. Like you're not going to get your win here.
Mitch, did anything stand out for you in that period of the game?
Yeah, I guess the first 15 minutes were a little bit slower. But I think that's been a typical thing in the last few years of kind of slowly getting into games as opposed to going full rock and roll off rip like it was 2 years ago. But I did think that overall in the first half, our attack was very fast and very direct. There was multiple times where I saw us running 4 verts where like a midfielder got the ball and all 4 of our attackers are just making runs, trying to make runs behind. And I don't think I've seen that before, or at least not very much from this Arsenal team, and it was very fun to see. And I also think that someone like Calafiori plays with such pace and purpose at all times that I think it also sped up our play. I think this is more after the first 15, but as we kind of grew more and more into the half, Calafiori was really the one that was driving us forward, and fully the one that led us to get that second goal at the end of the half, by just continuing to just fucking go at full speed.
Man, you
That guy
just
plays at
fucking stay
110.
put at full speed, Mitch, and stop jumping all over the goddamn fucking first half, motherfucker. Gabby, on Calafiori, let's just go long on Calafiori right now since you brought him up. I got the sense watching the game, and this is, I'm going to pull a Mitch here and go the whole game. I got the sense just watching the game, even though I wouldn't go as far as to say our left-hand side is fixed. But I thought to myself at points in this game, like, this fucking pasta merchant might fix the left side all by himself. Like, am I gassing it, or was he? I mean,
am I gassing?
He was fantastic, wasn't he?
Why is it cold already? Like, he's played for like 2 games. Yeah, he moves me. He moves me. He makes me giddy to watch him. He has so much. He plays with so much personality. I actually think Coach tweeted about it, and he said I don't even think Maldini was this good. And I was like, listen, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but it's giving me the feeling. Okay, it's giving me the feeling. It's crazy what an actual left back who plays with the correct foot on that side can do for your winger. But yeah, he carries the ball well. I think he's going to play that inverted role extremely well because he ran all over the pitch in this game. He was on the right, he was on the left, he was in the box, he was overlapping, he was at the top of the box ready to shoot. Like, he just wanted to do everything. I think he had like almost a bicycle kick or like a volley, like a half volley today. Like, he just wanted to do everything. The only thing that worries me about Calafiori is that his aggression that he plays with is going to need to be tampered down, which I think Arteta knows when he bought him. You saw it in the Man City game. You saw it in this game too. He can be a little unaware and overcompensate and be really aggressive when he's going for the ball, and players can run past him, which I think he'll learn quickly. We're refereed different, so he's going to get that yellow card every time. And also, there's just better, like, the skill is better in the Premier League. It's just as simple as that. Maybe not on Leicester specifically, but like, the skill is better than the Premier League as a whole. So there are going to be more players who take you on and get past you.
That's good. Mitch, anything on your fellow Italian? Where are your people from, Mitch?
I'm actually not Italian at all. I'm a very classic American white person of just so many Nordic countries. Throw some Germany in there. It's like a lot of Norway, like all over the place, but I don't think any Italian. I do want to come back to your point that you started this with, which is that he's probably that he looked like he fixed our left side. And I'm sure I'll give you the segue of Martinelli looked a lot better today. And I think that Calafiori helped that out a lot. I think part of Martinelli's struggles last season was that he was just so isolated. The fact that we continue to only invert, have no differences there from the left back. So he was never getting an overlap or someone joining him super high up the pitch. And then less dynamic movements from his left back. Kivior wasn't overlapping to like a high degree. He wasn't like, it's not Kivior slander. This is just Calafiori was everywhere, and it allows space to open up for Martinelli where he's able to get in more one-on-ones and open up more space for him. And it's only going to get better when we add Marino to the equation. Or someone like Wanyeri plays on that side. And so it was really, really great to see just like really dynamic movement on both sides, both on the left and right, because it's something we haven't seen in a while. It's something that it's probably been the biggest criticism of Arsenal by Arsenal fans for the last season and a bit, that like our left side's not to the same level as the right side. Part of that is the right side is just so good. But we needed something like what Calafiori brought today and what he's been bringing when he's played left back. And Timber as well, when he's played left back, has also brought a similar level to where he's getting up higher, he's joining the attack, and getting an extra body up there has helped.
Well said, Mitch. That begs the question. I wasn't going to do it in this order, but Ben White wasn't in the squad today because he's apparently nursing some sort of injury. And we all know that if this was, 3 months ago, he'd be playing. It didn't matter what was wrong with him. Mikel would just roll him out there. Like we talk about how he used Saka like a bar of soap he uses Ben White like oxygen. Like, like, like he's been trying to kill that boy since he bought him. Like,
For real.
50 million, I'm gonna use every fucking dime out of you, motherfucker.
His knee was hanging off last season for sure.
Yes, but this lineup, I think a lot of us, we may not want to vocalize this, but fuck it, let's just get into it right now. I know we don't really have starters, Gabby, but Ben White wasn't in the squad today, and we didn't particularly miss him. I guess let me ask you a direct question so it doesn't sound like an agenda. Who do you think plays more minutes by the end of the season? Calafiori, Timber, or White?
That's a good question. I was waiting for the agenda actually because I have an agenda to run, but yeah. I will say before I answer that question, I will say I have always stated since the beginning of the season that I thought our starting lineup was always going to be Calafiori at left back and Timber at right back when everybody is fit. I think that Ben White is going to be rotated often because he just cannot play every game like he played last season, and Timber's coming off an ACL injury, so they're going to share that right back. And we have so many more left backs than we have right backs. So with stating that, I do think Ben White is going to play a lot of minutes, a lot. However, if Timber stays fit the whole season, I think he's going to play the most. I'm going to be real with you. I think he's going to play the most. I think Calafiori is going to be in and out of the team a little bit more, just because of how he plays. He might, like tactical wise, Arteta might want some more solidarity on that side, or solidity, I should say, on that side. And I just think he trusts Ben White more, and he can shift Timber to the left side. So he'll probably play Ben and Timber a lot more than we think.
And you did mention in your earlier response that Calafiori is very aggressive. So he's going to pick up yellows. He's going to get suspended.
Yes, he
All
is.
defenders will, but I think he looks like the sort to definitely miss every fifth game just because he's kicking people. Mitch, speaking of kicking people, I hate to discuss it, but it happened in the game, so it's a fair topic. And I guess we'll probably be talking refs all season, given the way this season has started.
We sure
Arsenal. We'll be talking refs all damn season. But Oliver Skip had a tackle on Martinelli in that first half. His studs went into Martinelli's Achilles. Nothing happened there. It was just Martinelli laid on the ground for a bit, then he got up. But I kind of thought that was a red card tackle. Am I being overly paranoid there, or a little dramatic?
I don't know if I can think about that tackle. They didn't make enough a big enough deal about it on the broadcast tour.
I can remind you if you need reminding.
However, I do think that Skip should have been sent off later in the game because he picks up a yellow card and then does the most orange card tackle I've ever seen on Saka. Does not get a second yellow. Also, there was multiple times where Leicester players kicked the ball away today. No yellow cards were given out. Not surprising, but yeah, just thought I'd give you guys a nice little kicking the ball away update. It's a fake rule that's made up for certain situations.
Yeah, situations that disadvantage Arsenal. Gabby, you seem to have more of an opinion on that specific tackle. You know the one I'm talking about.
I sure do. That was absolutely a red card, a straight red. He missed the ball. If anybody remembers that tackle, he missed the ball and went studs up into Martinelli's ankle, and it wasn't even a card at all, much less like a red card. Absurd. It's the things that I see that they do to Arsenal players that they get away with. Like I said, I keep saying this on every pod. I don't care how early it is in the game. A red card is a red card. It's a dangerous tackle. I just want the opportunity to play against 10 men. Like, that's it. I just want the opportunity to play against 10 men just once this season. I just think it's absurd.
Yeah.
And the game would have been completely different if he was sent off like he should have been. Not once, but twice.
I don't know how much more different it could have been. It could have been because we set an XG record in this game. So I don't know what we would have done to Leicester if they were down to 10 or 9 men in this game. Back to Martinelli. He had one of his better games today. I didn't think he was any better than he's been in the past. There were just end products to go with the effort today. I feel like he's
that's the thing, I think.
What's that?
I think that he's been pretty solid this season, just hasn't had the end product.
Yeah, so
like,
that was a big
he's someone that creates a lot of chances for himself, which is great. And then he finally got that goal today. He could have had a hat trick in the first half. He had a lot of chances, but he creates a lot of chances for himself, which is just a blanket good thing about Gabriel Martinelli.
Yeah, the one chance I was thinking of was there was a press regrain. I think Declan Rice probably, he's always the one doing that kind of thing. He got the ball, it went to Saka. Saka lays it off to Martinelli, and he scoops it over because he had taken a bad touch.
Yes.
And in that moment, I thought to myself, back to this shit again. Like, today was supposed to be your day. But on to the goal. Saka cut infield again, found Timber on the overlap, which is nice because when you remove Ben White, whenever Ben White hasn't been in a team, we've always complained about the lack of overlaps on the right side. But he wasn't in the squad today, and we didn't miss that for a second because Urian Timber got an assist for our boy Martinelli. Gabby, is this the moment where things progress for our guy?
Listen, you know how I felt. I said at the beginning of the season, I think Calafiore is gonna have crazy production numbers, but him and Timber might go bar for bar. Like, they might go bar for bar, because I think at the end of the game they said that Timber created 7 chances this game.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy from left back.
Right back.
Right back. And I remember at least 4 of them. And this particular one, it was so direct. You know, you get the ball, you overlap, you cross, and hit it one time into, even if it's scuffed, hit it one time into the back of the net, and that's it. Sometimes you need that shaky goal, and we all said it on the timeline. We were like, Martinelli needed that. He needed that very badly. But Timber was up and down that pitch the whole entire game. I think this was really, really a good game for him. I think when he starts to get there were moments where he wasn't syncing up with Saka as well, because they didn't know which one of them were going to get the ball or where they were going, and I think that's just going to come with time. They're going to have more chemistry with time. He's been playing with Ben White for a long time, for at least 3 seasons, so that's going to come. But when it does come, scary hours.
Yeah, they just got to do Bible study together like 15 times, and they'll lock
Bible
in.
bros.
Okay, that's all they need, Bible bros. Let's talk some Kai Havertz. One could look at his entire performance today and say, okay, he got something at the end, but God, that was a poor exhibition of finishing. Or one could say he got on the end of a lot of shit, and we just ran into a goalkeeper playing out of his mind, and he was just unlucky with some of the finishes. Mitch, what do you think? How do you think your doppelganger played today?
Doppelganger. It's truly every white guy, I think.
Every
You can't knock a striker for scoring. Like, if you score, you had a good performance. Like, that's just simple as kind of thing. Like, and I think that Leicester's goalkeeper played so well. And Kai was just like so close on a couple. Like, there was one where he like almost hits the outside corner on a header. And that was a really, really good chance that he did the right thing, and just like it just was off target. And it was a weird performance from him, but if you score a goal at the end, as weird as it was, I don't really care. Like, as long as you just keep that form going of keep scoring goals. He scored in all 3 of our home games now to start the year. Like, yeah, just keep that going. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, he's essentially stumbled his way into becoming a volume scorer in this calendar year for Arsenal.
He's not even a false 9 anymore. He's just a 9.
Yeah, he's just a straight up 9. Like, I do this. Like, this is what I do. But the one guy that has been weirdly reliable, it's not even really weird. It's just that we don't view him as a bolted on starter for the team, but he's always in and around the goals. I don't know whose boy he is on the pod, because he's not my boy, even though I fuck with him. But Leandro Trossard got the second goal, and it kind of felt as if it was going to be a cruise at this stage, because on this one, it was I felt like it was a lesser version of the goal he scored away at Everton last season on the wrong foot.
We're on the same page, because I said the same thing. Good.
And you can take it from here, Gabby.
So I did a watch along earlier for this game, and I said it during the game. I was like, this reminds me of the Everton game. Like, Trossard just always seems to come up with clutch goals for us. But as I was watching this goal, I was just like, I'm glad we scored and it's 2-0 and that's great. But I was like, I'm still worried because I know Arsenal. I know my team. We should have scored 3 or 4 in that first half. And I think that we let them back into it, which when we get to the second half, we'll talk about that. But Trossard is just, you can't tell me anything about Trossard. He just comes up with clutch goals all the time. So readily for us. He's always available to score, whether he's coming off the bench or he's starting. And I know people don't like him starting. They like Martinelli or whoever else they want to start over him. But he's just so reliable in front of goal. He genuinely is. I know he doesn't score all the chances that he should. If there's another chance later in the second half that he absolutely should score, that the goalkeeper saves, but that guy, man, the amount of important goals that he scored, I can count like 5 off the top of my head. Porto, Bayern, Everton. I mean, he just big goals against, Man United, all of those things. Those are very important. He's probably our most clinical finisher, next to Martinelli. And even they are not that great at finishing their chances. So that's saying a lot.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't think I'll ever view him as a striker because there were moments in the first half where I watched him get into, I forget who he was dueling with. And I remember thinking to myself in that moment, even though they ran across the pitch together, him and the Leicester player, I forget who it was someone bigger than him because everyone's bigger than him. I remember thinking during that duel, like, this is why Mikel doesn't trust you as a main starter, because physically you're someone the team kind of has to carry. And if any team can carry a little guy, it's Arsenal, because we have a bunch of fucking bulldozers in the back.
Big, strong men.
Yeah, slapping meat all over the field and shit.
Okay.
He brings enough to the table that you're willing to forgive his weakness in the duel. But I absolutely see why Mikel seemingly prefers Martinelli, what he brings, because even if he's not that much bigger than Trossard, just the physicality of him, the up and down running, the pace, and the fact that, he just never seems to stop unless he's hurt, but shout out Trossard, man. He's always available, whether we need him off the bench or to start. And that's availability, especially in this period of the season, is nothing to be sniffed at, and I'll also give him credit for providing a lot of the creativity that we've lacked without Martin Odegaard, even though he does it in a slightly different way. He's not quite, he's the most fake-ass 10 ever. Mitch, you want to get in on this, don't you?
There was times that I saw Trossard running with like the same gait as Odegaard, and I thought it was really funny because I feel like I feel like that's like, I don't know if I know how Trossard usually runs, but I don't think that's it. But he was like doing a Martin Odegaard impression almost of just like running with the same gait.
He runs like a raccoon because he reminds me of a raccoon. That is what we're doing.
It's the bags.
Somebody beautified his face on Twitter the other day, and it made me laugh because I was like, "Is this real?"
For a brief moment in preseason when they're in the States, those bags were gone. For a brief moment, like he was happy for like a day, and now he's back to being a grumpy raccoon. Halftime came. I'm pretty sure you were both confident that, okay, this one's in the bag. I mean, I know you said you know your team, Gabby, but surely one of the top 5 teams on the planet can see Leicester. I mean, Leicester had drawn 3 and lost 2. They haven't won a game this season. Surely you thought we were going to win this easily at halftime.
No, I did not. I'm not even on it like any like depression antics or nothing. Like I just know my team, especially when we're playing away. I mean, at home. When we're playing at home, we tend to let the crowd get in our heads and we get rattled, and then it spreads throughout the whole team. Then everybody starts misplacing passes, and we start messing up attacks. And I'm just like, get a hold of yourself. It can never just be we concede one and then we just score another. It's always like we concede one and then we look rattled, and then they have another huge chance, and then maybe they score, and then it's like this team, man.
I feel like those were a lot of generalizations based on scar tissue, but that's okay. You lived through it just like I lived through it. So I understand. I still do. I understand it, but it's weird. I gotta say it's weird. You gotta start putting your chest out like an Arsenal fan, because
I put my chest out when we play away from home. We are so much better when we play away from home.
That's fair. I am personally upset because I had a quiet, it's not really a bet, but I reached out to coach outside of the actual group chat because I didn't want to have a bunch of people opining. But I was like, I really think we can go for Chelsea's goals conceded record this season.
Oh, I put my chest out and say that. That's why I was mad we conceded these 2 goals. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah,
if we don't win the title, I still want that. I don't care.
I don't think it's going to happen, though.
We're conceding too often now.
Well, let's get to the second half. They scored pretty early, Leicester, but before they scored, I think just generally in that period, the main takeaway, if something's more important than a goal, was that the tone of the refereeing seemed to change, Mitch. There were 3 quick yellow cards brandished for I don't think any of them were deserved. The one for the Leicester player
I
or the
agree.
2 Arsenal ones. Like, do you think Howard Webb called into the referee's locker room at halftime like, hey, man, we don't have enough talking points from this game. Do something.
Gotta make it interesting.
You know what? You say that as a joke, but like now I'm thinking about it, and there may be truth to that. I don't know. Like,
He's fully down the rabbit hole.
Oh yeah,
it's
that's why I
like it's like Premier League refereeing just baffles me every week. Every week they do stuff where I'm just like, yeah, cool. That sounds about right, I guess. Like the reports that were coming out yesterday, where it's like Premier League's probably not going to do semi-automatic offsides because they don't think the technology's there yet. And it's like every other league in the world is doing this. Every international tournament is doing this. And the best league in the world can't seem to wrap their little heads around it. It's truly baffling. These are the dumbest human beings to ever live. And I'm just glad that this gung-ho yellow cards at the beginning of the half didn't affect us in a negative way, because it very easily could have. Like, Calafiori was one of those, like, weak yellows at the beginning of the half, and he went in on a challenge later in the half that got someone else a yellow card because he was trying to get it to show. Yeah. Very easily, they're like, oh, great, red card for Arsenal? You're giving me an excuse? Great, awesome. And then we don't win this game, even though we were utterly dominant the entire way.
Yeah, at the time when I saw those yellow cards, I tweeted that this is how referees change games. You give a bunch of people yellow cards they don't deserve, then all of a sudden everyone's on pins and needles, and you can, oh, I didn't have a choice. I had to send them off.
I mean, you can see the way Saliba played after that. He played very differently against Vardy after he got his yellow card.
Very well said. Very well said. That's exactly where I was going with it, because after the yellow card, all of a sudden he was a little less physical with Vardy. And Vardy had like 3% more of a chance to, I don't know, run vertically. He didn't do shit regardless. He still didn't do shit. He was just able to get more physical with Saliba because he knew that there was a risk that Saliba wasn't going to be as aggressive with him because he already had a yellow. So it did affect the game, but just not. It didn't have enough of an impact to affect the results, So for that, we're grateful. And now we can talk about their bullshit ass goal, because it was a free kick. Buonanotte, who had a pretty decent game, I'd say. I wonder if Brighton could have used him today. Well, he's not a defender, so probably not. And even if he was a defender, he'd be playing in a high line, and Chelsea would have destroyed him as well. But back to this game.
When I catch you, Brighton. When I catch you.
Buonanotte crossed a free kick, a guy headed by Justin James, who, for my money, maybe had the greatest heat map in the history of the...
Jefferson.
Justin James, no? No, it's Justin James.
I said Justin Jefferson because I'm an idiot that has NFL brain. I don't know.
Keep your NFL brain off this podcast, please.
Get that CTE ball out of here.
Yeah, is that his name?
Justin James. It's Justin James.
His
header deflected off Raya's shoulder. Havertz's shoulder, and basically froze Raya to the ground.
It's James Justin.
Cool.
He just had to get it. He was like, I know.
Had to get it in, and I don't.
It was bugging me. You were saying his name wrong, and now I said it wrong.
So, okay, while you're talking, Mitch, who gets the blame for the goal? Can we blame anyone for this goal, or is it just one of them things?
I'm not blaming anyone for either of the goals we gave up, really. I think both of them were like...
I'll ask you about one goal. Don't do that thing where
you see, you threw it to the wrong person. I was ready for it.
All right,
Gabby, I had someone to blame.
Because Mitch is acting crazy.
Listen, I love Calafiori, but that was on Calafiori.
The headed goal?
And I tell you what. Not the header goal. Sorry.
See, you acting crazy
wait. The first goal that we conceded, that one is just... I mean, granted, we shouldn't have fouled there, personally. I just don't think we should have given them anything. But, even if you do foul there, clear the ball. I think that I just don't like when people are defending in their own box and turn. I just hate it. It always seems to deflect into the net or close to the net, and then it's a scramble. Either Raya comes out and gets it, which he couldn't have come out and got that. So just clear the ball. Just clear it. I mean, granted it hits into his shoulder and not his head, so he couldn't have cleared it, but the way that he turned, his body position was terrible to have to clear that. I don't think he thought he was going to get to that ball. Right. And that's the problem.
I think, if I had to blame someone, it's Havertz. Because for me, I think James was his man, or Justin. What's his name again, Mitch?
Just call him
That's his
Justin.
name?
Just call him
Double
Justin.
J.
It's
Double
James.
J. Double J.
James Justin is
James
his name.
Listen, the name on his jersey is Justin, so we call him Justin. That's what we're
Right.
gonna call you.
All right, so Timberlake got away from Havertz. I felt like he gave him too much room when the kick was taken because it felt like that was his man. Havertz was the closest to him to begin, but for some weird reason, Havertz dropped behind the entire defense.
Way
So
behind.
he was almost our deepest player. Then when Justin headed the ball, it deflects off Havertz and freezes right to the ground. And now our god of clean sheets doesn't have a clean sheet today, and I'm very sad for him and very, very mad about everything. We had a couple of chances. We had a lot of chances in this game. A lot. I think the first half, as good as it was, the second half was even better, but we're equally
worse.
Yeah,
we
but worse because we couldn't finish. I can think of a Gabriel header from a corner that got saved. That was a great save. Great save. Then
Yep.
Timber could have finished rebound, blasted it
No,
up.
see that one, the Timber one, and all the headers off of corners, I was like, fair. You should say that as whatever. Because Calafiori also had a really good header that got saved. The Timber one and the I think it was Trossard. The Timber and Trossard one were the worst misses out of that second half. Worst.
You know, I guess if a shot hits the bar, Mitch, it's a miss. But surely, if a guy is stretching for the ball, it's not.
See, that's not the one I'm talking about, though. The one that hits the post is not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one that the goalkeeper saves when he kicks it. The goalkeeper kicks it directly to Declan Rice, and two people are in the box, and Trossard doesn't score. You just have
And
to.
the goalkeeper makes a really good save.
No, bro, you gotta hit that hard and low.
I need to give the goalkeeper some serious credit. Like, we can't expect to be scoring every single shot that we have, and every opportunity we have. And we had some great opportunities, but this goalkeeper somehow was maybe the best player on the pitch despite giving up 4 goals.
He's definitely
like, that's how good 100%. Of a performance he was. This was a 7-0 game 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
but variance in this sport is weird. The goalkeeper had an incredible game and prevented probably 3 goals just on his own. And we had 2 fluky goals get scored against us. One fluky set piece and one fucking insane finish. Like, this is 7-0 9 times out of 10, and this isn't a thing of like, oh, we're still bad at finishing, because no, we're not. We scored a record amount of Arsenal goals last season. We're still scoring a lot of goals this season. That's not going to be an issue throughout this year. And variance just went in a weird direction. But we won the game.
Yeah. Mads Hermansen had 13 saves from 17 shots on goal, which is tied.
Insane.
I know what David here. I don't want to hear about that game. That game was horrible too.
Can you motherfuckers let me talk? It's my podcast. Don't Next person that cuts me is getting kicked off the pod. That's new. But yeah, impressive performance. We have to, it helps contextualize it because we all remember that De Gea game and how sad we were. I think United scored 3 goals from 2 shots on target in that game. Like, it was horrible. I hate Wayne Rooney. Gosh. Okay, let's go backwards a bit. James Justin, the goal, I don't think we've talked enough about it. I know he's not an Arsenal player, but that was a hell of a finish, guys.
Oh yeah,
it was. I love a player who just hits it first time. I wish our players would do it more. I mean, we scored our first goal like that, but hitting it first time is just so sensational. When you hit it sweetly, it's just not much else you can do. There's nothing Raya could have done. I only blame that on Calafiori because I just think he wasn't aware of where Justin was behind him, and I think he should have been more aware, and maybe he could have cleared it. But the way that he hits that ball, that was always going into the back of the net.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those.
I'm not putting blame on anyone.
Yeah, he'd maybe watched James Justin for the prior hour of the game and thought to himself, "Oh, this guy is fucking shit." Then
I mean, we were leaving him on the back post a lot in that game, and I was like,
you never know when a motherfucker's gonna turn into prime Cafu. It happens sometimes. We've
seen Holding do it, so
yeah, exactly. Shit can happen. These are all Premier League players, okay? No matter how shit they play, they're all Premier League players. They're there for a reason. Mitch, do you think after that great goal that Justin scored, did it take Mikel too long to make substitutions today?
Yeah, I think he did, and I think that's a typical thing for Mikel. Usually waits a while. But after that goal got scored, we were chasing the game for the entire second half, and I didn't feel worried at all. Like I kind of just felt like we were gonna get the goal. Like I'm watching an Arsenal game in stoppage time, 2-2, chasing a win, and I just wasn't nervous. And I don't know if I'm just broken or like I'm just very calm now about Arsenal games in that kind of scenario. Like I was just like, yeah, we're gonna score. Like I just know we will. And if we don't, variance was weird today. Like I don't know if I'm just like if my brain's broken or what's going on, but I was pretty calm the entire second half.
It's what I said at the beginning of the pod. It's results based moods and shit, man. Like, like this is the way I feel as if Arsenal fans should have felt about their team for most of the last 18 months, to be honest with you. Like, I don't really, maybe I'll be honest, in matchups against a team like Bayern or, like Champions League level games, okay, some of the old feelings can bubble up because I know these teams are good. And I know that shit is weird in a knockout competition or whatever. But for the most part, especially, put it this way, post Raya joining the team, like just the air of calm that he's allowed to permeate through the entire squad. For me, I'm just very confident in this team. But I have to admit that if you're a newer fan, for instance, or if you just started supporting Arsenal yesterday, there's a strong chance that after we missed, I think, put it this way, even my grown calm ass panicked a little bit when Havertz had that sort of hooked overhead type kick from point blank range that the goalkeeper saved. At that point, I thought to myself, this is a classic Wenger era visiting goalkeeper shows up and decides to make a name for himself and go all gamut on our ass. And at that point, I got a little scared. Was anyone else a little scared? Gabby, I know you were scared.
You know how I felt. I said every time we play at home, we do some nonsense. It can never just be a calm win for some reason when we play at home. And I just thought the amount of chances that we were getting, I just still didn't see the urgency in our play. I know we were getting chances, but I think we were getting chances because Leicester are just so much worse than us. If we're talking not even just about the table, but like how good our quality is, we were always going to create chances, but putting it into the back of the net, that separates us men from boys and all that. And I just thought, don't let this be one of those games that like I have to think about at the end of the season. That's like Fulham, because we are good for that every season. We're good to give a team who hasn't won a point at the Emirates Stadium for some reason, and it happens every year without fail. And I just want us. And I said it last week, and I probably said it the week before. I just want us to beat the teams we're supposed to beat. Like, that's it. Just beat the teams we're supposed to beat in a way that the performance looks good and also the scoreline looks good. Yeah. I want to slap teams. And we're not always going to slap teams, but I want to be dominant in a 1-0 win or a 2-0 win, like where they had no chances. Because our defense is so good, our midfielders are so good, and our attack did what they had to do. And sometimes our attack is just going to have to...
Are you implying that we weren't dominant today?
Huh?
Are you implying that we weren't dominant today?
No, I'm implying that we weren't clinical today. Because you can be dominant without being clinical, and that's the problem. That's the problem with Arsenal. We tend to have a lot of like field tilt and all that, and like be in their box and tiki-taka try to pass it into the net, and sometimes we won't always score like that, which is why we added the set piece goals.
Yeah. Everything on the margins for us. That's probably my favorite thing about Arteta as a coach, the fact that nothing is beneath him. Like back in the day, I'm a son of Wenger. I used to think that set piece goals were gauche. It's like, ew, nasty, gross. like walk it over the line. Don't be a fucking barbarian like those Stoke people. Like, nah, give me the Stoke. I want all that shit now. Give me all the nasty. Like,
I'll take
I want
both
the nastiest team in the league. I want us to do that. And I'm like, I love this last week of all this false dark arts narrative. Bring it more. I want all of that. Finally, Mitch, the man made a sub. And it was Ethan for 5. And Ethan, if he did, for me, it was one of my favorite introductions of an Arsenal player to a game, maybe ever. I'll let you take it from there.
I just love the audacity of a 17-year-old coming on in this kind of situation and just immediately dribbling past 3 guys and taking a shot from 30 yards. And it almost went in. It would have been like... I can't. It's upsetting to me that it didn't go in because it would have just been such a sick way for him to just be like, "Yeah, I'm here." I like officially arrived. He did that anyway without getting on the score sheet, but like I'm feeling more and like this is a very different Arteta when it's coming to integrating the youth. Because I think Ethan and Miles are just very ready. Like Ethan and Miles came on against Spurs away and City away in the last two games, and now in a 2-2 situation where we're chasing a goal. Last year, Emile Smith-Rowe doesn't come on in this kind of situation, let alone Ethan Nwaneri. And I think it just shows the amount of trust that that Arteta has in this player, and he immediately paid it off by being such a brave presence, just immediately just fucking going for it. Because I think we were starting to lull a little bit right before he came on. I think we were putting on pressure the entire second half after the game was tied, but I think it was starting to lull a little bit. Ethan came on and it was just like immediate energy into the team, and I can't wait to see him start games. He's just so good.
Right. I have a very hot take that I think will start a civil war within the fan base, but I think just from a pure talent standpoint, he's better than Odegaard. He's a more talented footballer.
See, we just don't need to do this.
Let me finish. You know, like
You
there's,
notice I didn't say anything at all.
it's just it's a talent thing. I'm not saying he's a better overall player at the moment. No, he's not. He's not even close. But from a pure like, what talent did God give you coming out the womb? I think Ethan is just he's just a better profile as a player in that sort of role because he carries the ball.
He signed for Real Madrid at 15.
Yeah, he carries
or
the ball.
14.
Hey, well, Ethan could have been at an equivalent place if he chose to leave Arsenal. He chose not to because he likes it here. You know, City wanted him, United wanted him, Chelsea wanted him. I'm sure that Real Madrid would have wanted him too if they had space for him, but they have so many fucking rockets already. On the other hand, Raheem Sterling came on and did a bunch of daggering. Can you explain why your man didn't make the difference, Gabby? Why did a 17-year-old have to come and show him?
Why is he my man?
Defend your man. Stand for your man.
Oh my god! All right. Well,
like Mitch gets all the white slander. You hold in all this. You hold in all of it. You see this
the one Jamaican.
I'm serious still right now. When we see this shit, all the Jamaican slander is for you. Up on the clock, go.
Well, I will say when Sterling came on and we still didn't look like we had that much urgency. I will say he did the thing that I wanted him to do, which is like play direct and run into the box. Play direct and run into the box. That's it. That's all I like. You may not get a goal or assist or whatever, but like just play direct. Like run at your man, please. Because the passing, the lack of urgency and passing around the box was killing me. I was losing my mind watching it.
I will say this. I think it was a neutral performance from him. But what I did like was the fact that when he came on the field, his teammates recognized that he's here to make the difference. Let's give him the ball. Because nothing annoys me more than when the coach makes a sub and it's not like an injury or like for like thing, or the players sort of ignore the game state and they're like, we're just going to keep doing what we were doing before you came on. He came on, and even though he didn't have the impact that Ethan had, he got the ball a lot. He ran at people, like he tried to make things happen, and I'm sure he will make more happen in the future. On to the goal, guys. The goal that we never really doubted. It was never in doubt, even though I had stopped sitting on my couch and I was now sitting on the floor because I was like, well, I got to switch up the energy in this room right now. I'm jinxing the team.
The feng shui was off a little bit. Let me move.
This was probably, by my math, I'm sure I could just look up the stats, but I won't do that because ignorance is bliss. That was probably our 13th corner in that game, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
And it fell to the foot of the shortest man on the field. And he side foots it into an area of chaos, and it goes in off my Nigerian brethren, Wilfred Ndidi. I appreciate you, bro. I know deep down inside you're an Arsenal fan, even if you don't say it out. I know deep down we're all Arsenal fans in Nigeria. All of the good ones. The bad ones are Chelsea fans, but don't talk about them. And fuck United. But Mitch, when the ball went in, I guess your prophecy was fulfilled, I suppose.
Yeah, again, I think I'm not bragging right now when I say this of just like, oh yeah, I was very calm the entire way, because I wish I was more excited. I saw the goal and was like, let's go. Great. This is what I was hoping we'd do. Instead of, I guess if I was genuinely nervous, I would have been screaming and my roommates would be telling me to go fuck myself because I was screaming at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning. And instead it was just like, yeah, great. That's what we're supposed to do. Awesome. And I don't want to feel this way. I would like to have more emotions about it. I don't know why I feel dead about that. Or
I think
just
you used
too
all your
calm.
emotions in that City game for sure.
I did. I think I have to like re-up. Yeah, I need to recharge. Like, give me a full month after like the emotional mess that I was last week. To get back up to like my median.
Don't know why. Havertz got his goal in the end, Gabby. James Justin, James Justin, that's his name. Fuck it. Timberlake attempted to clear the ball during a counterattack that Gabby Jesus was clearly in the middle of fucking up, because I don't know how that unfolded the way it did.
If I say what I think, I'll be in trouble.
I was like, this is why a teenager came on the field before your dumbass motherfucker. Like, what the fuck was that? He just put his head down and started running in one direction. However, it all turned out great in the end. Gabby, say some nice things about the people involved, and we're going to get out of here shortly.
I can't say anything nice about Jesus. That guy is buns. I'm so sorry. However, every goal is a good goal. I don't care how you score it. They tried to take it away from us after that, and I was like, huh? Like, he clearly wasn't offside. It came off the defender. Like, what are we looking at? I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad that we ended up scoring 4. That's what I'm glad about. I'm glad that we ended up scoring 4 because we deserved at least 4 with the performance that we put in, the amount of chances that we had.
Question for you. Would you have preferred us to see the game out at 2-0, or do you prefer the actual outcome of 4-2?
2-0, 100%.
Mitch?
Because I got the clean sheet. If I would have got that clean sheet, I would have things to say, but we didn't get the clean sheet, so it's whatever.
Fair. We love clean sheets. We're our
4-2 is
I'll take a 2-0
Unai Emery
every
type
day
of
the
nonsense.
100%.
All right, dumb question on my part. All right, Mitch, real quick. What do you think about Leicester's prospects for the season? They didn't look very good to me.
I think that there was one thing today that stood out to me that I think is a major difference maker between the last time they were in the Premier League to now. And that is Danny Ward is not their goalkeeper. Danny Ward is maybe the worst Premier League goalkeeper I've ever seen. And this guy is a legit shot stopper. Yeah. Get the ball away from his feet, though. Terrible fucking decision making with his feet. But when you're in a relegation battle, you don't need that out of a goalkeeper. Like, that kind of performance today and these kinds of saves and what you're able to make is the difference between getting relegated and staying up as a newly promoted team, even if you are Leicester City. And that, I think, is like, I have more confidence in them than I did maybe prior to today. And I still think they have, like, I think that they were too talented to get relegated 2 years ago. And it was just like some really bad mismanagement on certain parts, like having Danny Ward being their number one goalkeeper.
Clearly, Deen and I disagree, but I agree with you.
Listen, bro. Of course they're getting relegated. That fucking bum. I never rated that bum. I can't believe he's gotten England caps. Ridiculous. Like, the most Spurs player ever. He was a Spurs player when he was at fucking Norwich. Fucking bum. Thanks, Mitch. Leicester, according to Mitch, getting relegated, but will look better getting relegated.
Not what I said.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Not what I said.
Any changes to the lineup for PSG on Tuesday? Any thoughts on what we should do differently? Are you happy with what you saw today?
You know what I'm gonna say, and I know you're gonna hate it.
No, it's fine. Go ahead, say it. It's fine by me.
Listen, the way that they were running through our midfield today, PSG is gonna be a nasty game. It's gonna be they're a very technical team, and João Neves has started off the season very well for them. And I do not want to see it. I want Declan Rice at the 6. I don't care who's in front of him. Put Declan Rice at the 6.
Yeah, I remember thinking when we were trying to get the winning goal in this game that it's time to, get 5 off and put Declan in the 6 so you can get a more offensive option into one of the 8s. Because Declan as an 8, the stats look good last season. He's not an 8.
He's not.
He's just not. And if he's an 8, he's not a left-sided 8. He's a right-sided 8. Like, he works way better on the right side for me. And I know Arteta knows it, but he's also smarter than me, so I'll stop right there. Folks, anything else for the people before we get out of here?
We can't. I don't think we've said Bukayo Saka's name yet, and that's crazy because he was maybe our best player today. He was fucking incredible. Got his 6th assists in 6 games. First
Did he
player to
get-
do that to start a Premier League season.
Did he
No,
get
they
an
took it
assist
away from
today?
him. He,
Which one? The
they
Trossard
took it
goal?
away. Yeah, the Trossard. They took it away.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was an
because
own goal.
yeah, it was
'Cause they
an
took
own
the
goal.
goal
so
away
that-
from
yeah,
Trossard.
they took it away. Yeah, shame.
That sucks.
Yeah,
That's
your
terrible.
face was like, no.
I don't care. I don't care. Incredible performance from Saka. He was so fucking good. He's coming for that Henry assist record. He's going to get 21 this season. Book it. And I love him wearing the captain's armband. It's always sick. It's so nice to see him wearing the captain's armband.
Yeah. That will be cool to me when he actually scores a goal wearing that armband. Until that happens, I'm not into it because he's never done anything wearing it. That said, to give him his props, I feel like he basically managed himself through this game. It wasn't like a
I
top
feel the same.
Saka performance for me, but it was a good Saka performance. It was a Carabao Cup level Saka performance where it's like, oh, I'm playing against Leicester. I'll take it easy.
Fair. And they fouled him a lot, so fair enough.
There's that as well, and no one got booked for fouling him. Did Skip get a booking at the end for fouling him? I think
He
No, he
did.
should have gotten the red card for that.
He
Probably.
got 1 yellow for that. He should have got sent off twice, but
fucking
It's fair.
shit ex-Spurs fucking hatchet butcher twat. Anyway,
Oldest 23-year-old of all time. I'm the same age as Oliver Skip. I look 15 years younger than him.
God.
You need more stress in your life, Mitch. That's what's going on, man. Anyway, thanks for joining me. As always, it's always fun to talk about the thing we love. If you have nothing else, I guess you know what to tell the people.
Moreno, I want to run to you. Peace.
Peace.
Take a shot. Take a shot. Plenty.